그래도 결승까지 못 갈 것 같았는데 가서 그래도 좋았었던 것 같아요.
3위는 할 줄 알았는데 꼴등 한 점에서 일단 많이 아쉬웠고요. 그래서 좀 실망을 많이 했죠 그때.
나름대로 열심히 준비한다고 맨날 하는데도 저거저는 항상 좀 어려웠던 것 같은데 시즌2가 저거저는 좀 제일 못할 때 하필 투저그랑 걸려서 너무 아쉬웠습니다.
안 그래도 전역하고 나서 방송 경기에서도 이긴 적이 없는데 이제 예선까지 탈락을 하나 굉장히 좌절을 많이 했었고 그냥 약간 방황을 했던 것 같아요. 그때. 네, 사실 프로토스로 우승하긴 힘들겠다. 약간 밸런스 탓도 많이 하고 있었는데 전역을 했어도 우승을 할 수 있구나라는 자극을 받았던 것 같아요.
일단 성주 별명이 제4의 종족이잖아요. 준호 형은 제5의 종족이 아닌가.
저도 그렇게 생각했어요. 자만은 안 했고 제 컨디션이 좀 안 좋았어가지고 또 만나도 이길 것 같아요. 근데 20강에서 만나고 싶진 않네요.
민수랑 예전보다는 좀 멀어진 것 같고요. 일단 10강 간 거부터가 좀 배신인 것 같아요. 사실 근데 전역한 지 저보다 얼마 안 됐는데 10강을 가가지고 좀 많이 배 아팠어요.
현우가 요새 엄청 잘해요, 진짜로. 변현우. 진짜 요새 그냥 물이 올랐어요, 진짜. 아니, 옆에 있어서 그런 거 절대 아니고 진짜 물이 올랐어요.
동원이 형. 솔직히 테란 중에 한 명이 했으면 좋겠는데 쉽지 않을 것 같아가지고 현우 형이나 동원이 형 중에 한 명이 했으면 좋겠어요.
뭐 레이너 선수 굉장히 잘하는 것 같아서 우승 후보인 것 같고 준호는 잘하긴 하는데 이제 다음 시즌은 좀 힘들지 않을까 생각이 들긴 하는데
정명호 선수와 스파링 해기 정민수 선수와 토론하기.
그냥 저는 그냥 한 대 맞고 말래요.
맞아봐야 정신 차리는 거죠.
아니 그거를 따라온다고?
저는 민수 형이랑 밤샘 토론이에요. 스파링하면 죽을 것 같아요. 차라리 정신적으로 힘들겠다.
영우랑 싸우겠습니다. 그게 빨리 끝날 것 같으니까. 강민 선수는 정말 말이 많아서 쉽지 않을 것 같다는 생각이 들어가지고.
밸런스 최강인데요. 이제 민수는 저랑 좀 결이 안 맞아가지고 굉장히 말이 많거든요. 힘들 것 같고 이제 영우랑 싸우면은 죽을 수도 있겠다 생각이 들 정도로 좀 굉장히 살이 많이 올라가지고 그냥 민수랑 토크 하겠습니다.
구단주님이 찍으라고 해서 이제 브라이언 형이 찍어줬습니다. 나름 친하다고 생각은 하는데 아스리아는 모르겠네요.
Me and Zoun #1 친구. There's nothing to explain.
장난식으로 했는데 오버하시는 것 같아요. 저 때 부담이 너무 심해가지고 따가지고 다행이다라는 생각밖에 없었어요.
2009년에 제가 이제 이스트로에 입단하면서 프로게이머가 됐는데 아마 처음 이기고 찍은 사진인 것 같은데 저도 그때 모를 때여서 저런 이상한 머리를 한 것 같은데 그래도 얼굴은 좀 젊어 보이네요. 저도 저 사진은 많이 보긴 했는데 진짜 교신을 하는 것 같네요. 약간 지고 있는 상황에서 좀 나에게 힘을 줘라 하면서 그러고 있는 것 같은데
저한테는 아니지만 많은 사람들이 저를 생각할 때 많이 떠올리는 그런 장면인데 제가 좀 신기했던 기억이 있긴 해요. 그때 당시에 그게 페이스북에 올라가서 자주 다니던 미용실에서 저보고 그거 페이스북에 올라온 사람 아니냐고 물어봤었거든요. 그 당시에. 그때 좀 신기했습니다, 저도. 막 전역해서 내가 진짜 잘할 수 있겠다 이런 생각이 막 들었을 때 모습이 희망 가득 찬 모습인데 뭔가 좀 안쓰럽네요. 앞으로 고생길을 모르고 저렇게 경례하고 이제 희망찬 표정을 하고 있는 거 보니까.
사실 준호 우승을 보고 약간 의욕이 생겨가지고 열심히 해야겠다라는 생각을 가지고 있고 또 준호 따라서 마우스도 바꿨거든요. 이제 바뀐 마우스로 열심히 해가지고 이번에 좀 제발 방송 경기에서 한번 이겨보고 싶어요.
오프라인 무대에서 이겼던 경험이 너무 오래됐어요. 이번에는 정말 목표가 10강까지 가는 것이 목표예요. 저는 조별리그만 좀 통과하면 그다음부터 좀 편하게 할 수 있을 것 같다는 생각이 많이 듭니다.
이게 방금 들었는데 시드가 몇 개 걸려 있더라고요. 무조건 6강 이상은 가고 싶어요.
일단 6강은 무조건 가고 싶고 20강만 뚫고 싶어요, 지금은.
Today's matchup. Maru. Classic. GuMiho. Zoun. Round of 20, Group C.
2022 Hot 6 GSL Season 3.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the GSL. We're about to go into GuMiho versus Maru. First TVT here in Group C after both of our Terran players completely demolished both Protoss in kind of the same game 4 times, honestly.
Yeah, you know, we're not going to have our TVP deep dive, and maybe that's a good thing with how those TVPs looked earlier. Get me away from that icky matchup now.
Yeah, that was brutal, man. Did not enjoy those. I mean,
well, to be honest, I'm wrong all the time when I guess, but I usually don't think I'm that wrong about, like, quality of players in the games, but yeah, we did not have, you know, I think the most impressive games from the Protoss side of things.
That was low quality.
And I thought these were 2 safe bets.
I thought it was going to be like a really tight group.
Yeah, Classic and Zoun. I'm like, yeah, no, this is going to be great. Now, I will say, I think GuMiho, he's got a shot, but I think only a fool would not go with Maru here. Maru's got to be your pick. Maru is just looking too strong. Yeah.
He's the best Terran in the world. I mean, it's just plain and simple. This guy's miles ahead of absolutely everybody. And GuMiho, if he wants to come out first in his group, he's going to have to bust out some crazy TV2 builds, I tell you that, because Maru's the beast, man. He wants that G5L trophy, and he wants it bad.
Tropical Sacrifice.
I love the name.
Global warming map. Let's go.
Global warming
We're all going to be underwater soon, guys.
After those first 2 best-of-3s, I hope we sacrifice one of these Protoss players.
More species just go extinct.
All right, guys. Tropical Sacrifice, let's do it. Maru versus GuMiho.
Look at the blood on the map.
Oh, geez.
What do they sacrifice? All the animals on the map?
GuMiho.
I wasn't ready for that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Should we be surprised? No.
No.
No. All right. Well, Maru is just trying to catch an 8:30 movie tonight, so he's got to...
He might be able to with the way this has been going.
he might be able to.
Proxy 2-Rax, let's
Maru's
go.
like, can I get out of the studio before the sun is set? It's like, well, I mean, if you really want to end the games that fast, you could. Now, he's going to go for a double. Wait, oh, yeah, okay, I did see 2. I thought I was crazy.
Yeah, double refinery here for GuMiho. Maru with the 1 now, just back at home.
And we don't have a scout that's going towards this, the proxy location. By the way, Maru, I mean, you really can't get closer than this. Now, look at how this is just going to be out of the vision. That's because this SCV is right-clicked up into the main.
Yeah, GuMiho, I'm not sure about the TVT scouting, but certainly in TVP, he was slacking on the SCV scouts quite a bit, so
yeah,
not checking for proxies even with a late scout here in TVT is going to work in Maru's favor, as GuMiho not going to have any idea this is coming until he gets into the main of Maru.
Well, we really have to watch the first 3 Reapers that come from the attacker's side here and see if those stay alive. If GuMiho drops any Reaper, it usually snowballs.
Yeah, we've seen that before too, where on the other hand, if Maru as the attacker can kind of loses any Reapers, it snowballs on the other side for the defender's advantage. So really critical these first few fights is, you know, who's going to get the first shot off, and Maru's Reaper going to have to go back home, taking a lot of damage.
Oh my God. All right, so that's going to heal up.
Second Reaper now out for Maru.
Marine out for GuMiho.
Needs that DPS.
A Marin.
Marin out. SCV is just holding this high ground right now as GuMiho. And
we should note that on this map, it's not a big area you can jump up.
Yeah, I'm noticing that. And GuMiho on the flip side, going for a proxy starport. I like this a lot.
He's going to go for Cloak Banshees. It's a smart move.
Maru not really able to find anything. Oh my God, speaking of Maru not finding things, he's actually going to find this. Look at that. He comes
Oh
back
my
with the
gosh.
Reapers. He's like, yeah, I never saw your SCV come back home, buddy. Where is it?
Yeah, it's one of the funny things. So, so now that can't complete. Is there another? No, that's not an SCV. Look, there's a very quick SCV on the map.
It's got a stim pack
Yeah.
or something.
It's
riding
got
a Hellion.
It's got a Viking jetpack on its back.
They're probably moving slower if it had the Viking jetpack.
Oh
thing.
yeah, that's
Those-
true.
those
Some of the
guys are
Viking is like the
slow.
slowest unit in the game.
Hellions now
I
out
feel
for
like
GuMiho.
roaches run faster than that with their bug legs.
Maru did not cut Reaper production. And he's
No.
actually still continuing it. And this Reaper will be able to get in the main base. But Maru, if he turns around, will be able to catch these two Hellions.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
I don't think they
he
actually
can kill this.
I wasn't sure if they could actually see each other there with a range of vision, as all these SCVs are just kind of
This is one way to do it, man.
just helping each other out.
They're all huddled up like penguins, like just afraid to
penguins.
die.
It's like a school of fish.
Yeah. Now, the Hellions are going to be out of the map, but yeah, like you were saying, State, this is like a lot of Reapers.
It's
So,
a
like,
lot of Reapers.
You
This
got to
might
be careful because
Look at that. That's so many Reapers. That's 7 Reapers.
yeah, I mean, it's funny because Reapers, you know, they basically lose more value as the game goes on, but like right now, this is actually kind of scary. He could actually sandwich this.
I'm surprised he's not going for it. Maybe he thought GuMiho might try to juke him and go back to the natural expansion. And
Could be.
Maru now scouting with these the barracks, excuse me. It's definitely not an SCV. Does see the expansion for GuMiho, and he's going to want to pressure this, I think. GuMiho does not have a lot on the ground. 3 Marines, 1 Cyclone, 2 Hellions.
You know what?
That's
He's
a
going to
low-ground
kill this SCV. This is such an interesting early game here.
Yeah,
There's
really
so many
unique.
little engagements that have happened.
All right, Orbital. Okay, here we go. Reapers in the main base here for GuMiho, finding some damage. Not really what Maru wanted, though, I think. He got a Cyclone, 2 SCVs. We'll be able to get out with a handful of these Reapers, it looks like. Actually going back in to trade him out.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the best value you can get at this point in time.
2
with
more
this.
SCVs is good.
It's not huge, but, you know, it's not nothing either. Now, Banshee Cloak's going to finish for GuMiho. There's a Cyclone that's going to be ready. He's going to have scans to catch this, and there's going to be a Raven coming here. It's just such an unusual early game TVT, such a funny back and forth that we've had so far.
It's really unique. Especially, like, that's high of a Reaper count. I thought there might have been an even larger window to get damage done there as Maru, because for a moment, GuMiho only had a handful of units there on the ground. But
Well, I think Maru is being very respectful of the threat of counters here. I mean, he really, like, it seems like he was very confident that he did not want to lose control of this game because some Hellions get in there and just run circles and kill all of his stuff.
Maru going for a 3rd CC behind this, too.
Yeah, now I think Maru is going to be maybe in some hot water here. Because honestly, I can't imagine going 3 CCs and being that safe if GuMiho wants to take a fight.
Bunker coming down here. Magfield Accelerator is done for Maru. So lots of damage coming in. So that Cyclone goes down in an instant there for GuMiho. Wow. I knew that upgrade was good, but that was crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
And this is kind of ideal for dealing with these Banshees right now, the Raven and the Magfield, but getting actually caught out of position. Losing this tank could be huge.
Yeah, he's taking the tank out and the bunker. And so this is going to allow GuMiho to move in here. I don't feel like it's that safe to move in, though.
Man. Yeah, losing that tank actually complicates this quite a bit. Having those Cyclones to deal with the Banshees is nice, but not when your front door is wide open like it is now. And
yeah, GuMiho's just going to push right in. And, I mean, this could be extremely bad here. The Marine count's very low, so we want to watch them very carefully. There's also no medevac over this army right now for GuMiho, so he doesn't have the ability to heal. So, you know, any damage he takes is effectively permanent, and obviously Marines are very, very brittle units.
Yeah, this position for GuMiho at the base of this ramp is just so strong right now. Maru losing that siege tank. Really surrendering a critical spot on the map as his CC continues to get hammered here. He is holding on, though. Air superiority goes a long way in these kind of engagements.
I mean, hold on, hold on.
Okay.
Here we are. The disables are in. The Banshees are going to come in here. They actually have to back off.
Wow.
You know, I feel like just barely GuMiho doesn't quite have it.
Yeah, that was pretty clean there by Maru. Love
Yeah.
those double disables, just completely obliterates the bottom of the ramp, but keep in mind that push there by GuMiho, it got quite a bit done, and he's not done yet. He's going to try and trade out these Banshees for some more damage on the tanks. Maru's struggling to repair these right now. Man, such an interesting early game. It's really hard
feel
to
like,
follow exactly.
Well, it's like GuMiho's just barely pushing this. By the way,
Yeah.
this command center is in the red. This command center is going to blow up in a little bit here.
Yeah,
if
Maru
he can't
keeps
curb
going
the
back.
damage.
Maru keeps going back to repairing it, and for a moment there, I thought him breaking those tanks at the bottom of the ramp might give him an opening to kind of secure this position, but GuMiho almost parade pushing this.
By the way, very patient move here for GuMiho to back up, realizing his tanks are pretty low. He doesn't want to be that close, and maybe an overextension here from Maru. Let's see, this is not exactly the ideal army to fight, but these auto turrets are going to make a difference. He snipes that last Banshee. Oh, if he could just land a Viking on that one tank down there.
Yeah, he's going to identify that now, and it's on such low HP, he's just going to walk up and bop it. And finally, Maru takes control of the base of his ramp, and looking at the stats on the board, things are surprisingly equal after that. I mean, this has just been such an odd back and forth early game.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of tit for tat here. I mean, I guess they both traded out a lot of their tanks, their air tech. Marines were being bled out on either side throughout that. And so what we've got now is basically two guys kind of crawling into the third base, limping through this game. Worker count is slightly ahead here for GuMiho, which matters if they're even in pretty much every other metric.
Huh.
And
it looks like Maru's going to try and push this.
Now, Stim's going to finish a little bit ahead here for Maru.
Oh, that could be critical.
Stim is the one ability that lets you win fights really quickly, where even if you're like 10 to 15 seconds out from your Stim, they're going to be so much stronger if they can find the position, and that's easier said than done.
Maru right now, with those Cyclones, trying to draw some more attention on the north side of the map for GuMiho as he rotates the rest of his army around here to the third base, and he might be able to get a foothold there in that position. Actually, no, opting to go back home. Man, such patient play from both of these players, just kind of testing the waters and then backing off when they aren't sure they're able to get critical damage done. And
now, look at this. He's going to chase the SCVs out. This will draw some of the Marines up here. I'm sorry, where's the rest
No, they went back home. That's what I'm talking about, man. It's so patient. I thought he might be diving there on the third base, but instead, he's just like, I haven't been able to draw enough attention away, and he goes
crazy,
home.
Dude. For some reason, I thought he for sure was going to come back, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too.
The maneuver was fine. Interrupting the mining is totally acceptable. 1-1 is done now.
Oh,
GuMiho's going to come out for Act 2 of the pressure.
Yeah,
there is a CC that's being made, and it's kind of sticking out like a sore thumb right there.
Yeah, I think that's going to get canceled.
That's a very enticing target here for GuMiho because that's it's high priority and it's positionally very difficult to defend. Also, we may see GuMiho do a massive drop over here. In fact, he's going to tank push over into the natural.
Yeah, GuMiho is 8 tanks to the 3 of Maru right now, and he has way more Marines. So while the army supplies are almost even, it's only because Maru has all of this invested in Air Force right now, and you can see that GuMiho is just able to flex his muscle right now. That's a lot of bio, but a little bit of an overextension, kind of dropping on a bunch of Stim Marines.
Yeah, he was a little bit sloppy there. He is killing off some workers, but I don't know if this was exactly what it needed to be here. He still has the 4 tanks in the low ground. I don't believe the tanks are actually in range of that command center, so they can't keep shelling that. If they're not shelling that command center, it doesn't quite put the same kind of pressure on Maru to have to close this out with a fight that's going to be a win. He's going to just come in here and dump on these tanks. Maru is about to take a tremendous lead here.
Yeah, GuMiho really overextending there. He just kind of threw away that huge Marine count advantage that he had by dropping.
Yeah.
In basically in a firing squad, these Marines just coming one out of these medevacs and
it was
getting obliterated on the ground.
It was a super dangerous play, to be honest. And I don't know what was really warranted for it, so he's lost that. Again, his army is still a little bit bigger. It does seem like there's more momentum here for GuMiho, but Maru is going to patiently expand, alongside him. And he's going to do this technique where he has all the tanks in the medevacs, not the Marines. He's going to try to stem in and then find a superior position to set up his tanks. But he did this before and it didn't work. So And I don't feel like this map offers that many opportunities. Like, he could throw it here. Okay, I guess he has to remake a sensor tower, you know?
Yeah, you're right on the money. I mean, there really isn't a lot of valuable real estate to siege here. I mean, Maru just has kind of a foothold here on this region of the map, and GuMiho blundering that attack there at the natural expansion of Maru kind of took a lot of the momentum away from this play because his army was a lot bigger. And hold that thought now as we have Maru kind of posturing here on the map, trying to find some damage. A little bit tit for tat here in the middle, but GuMiho continuing to power. Armor shredded here on these Marines. GuMiho does find some position here on this ramp, and Maru will have to deal with this.
Well, he is denying the gases. That is something when you consider, you know, this is, you know, a big war of who's got more tanks. It's already 9 tanks for GuMiho, only 6 for Maru. Man, GuMiho might take this.
He might. It's kind of a weird fashion. I mean, after that blundered attack at the natural expansion, it felt like there was so much momentum in the favor of Maru, as Maru is now going to be able to clean this up. But it feels like all these fights, they keep happening, and then you look at the supplies, and GuMiho is just creeping ahead.
Yeah, well, GuMiho, you know, as long as he keeps growing, which is, you know, he is doing, he is keeping things more complicated for Maru. The thing is, Maru is basically, he has to play from behind, and he is, and he's doing a pretty good job of being, and it's not a huge amount behind, but he is a little bit behind here. But, you know, if GuMiho overextends, the game could get turned on its head.
Certainly could, and you see GuMiho is really finding success with this lower tech army comp. He's just going for Marines, tanks, and medevacs. He's not trying to contest air. He's not trying to really build up a super high like count of starport units. He's just sticking there on the ground, and that's allowing him to maneuver and get this damage in. But the problem is, if these players both reach max and Maru has air superiority, it could be really tough for GuMiho to find a favorable engagement.
Yeah.
And Maru's playing such a passive game. Look at the siege tank line right here in the CC. Planetary Fortress as well.
Okay, you can see GuMiho still sharking around here, trying to see if, you know, you can take a fight anywhere. But as long as GuMiho has this base that's going to finish up here at the top left, and Maru doesn't, I think GuMiho is right where he needs to be. 3 turrets here to defend. That may make GuMiho think twice about going in there.
Right, and GuMiho, if he's able to continue to deny this 5th base for Maru, could find that economy is his pathway to victory. So he actually is going to go past these turrets anyway. Loses 1 medevac in the process. Maybe not going to find too much damage here. We'll get 1 SCV for his trouble. Oh, even 2. That's
well, this didn't go well for GuMiho.
Certainly a trade.
What is the tank count at overall? I know that GuMiho has more, but I just want to know how many more.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. The siege tank count is really the only advantage that he has in terms of like the technicality of his army. 'Cause besides that, it's pretty much just all Marines. And
yeah,
Maru's sieging up here. This looks like a tough position to break. And if you don't have like Ravens or siege superiority or Liberators right now, as we see Maru has, it's really tough to find engagements. Actually, wow, we missed this, but GuMiho took a forward position right here between the 3rd and the 4th base of Maru and is going to get a ton of damage over here. It's a lot of SCVs going down, and this will eventually get cleaned up by Maru, I think, but man, GuMiho really pouncing here.
Oh my god, he's going to go for the tanks. This is so smart.
Yeah.
I think he thought those tanks could protect the Marines, but instead the Marines needed to protect the tanks. Hold on a second. I think Maru may end up swinging this.
Yeah, he really did.
Because there was a tank count lead here for GuMiho. And look, what did GuMiho kill? Maybe the least significant command center besides the one in the main. He killed the one in the natural.
And getting the SCVs there was great, but losing all of the siege tanks is not worth it.
Well, also look at, you know, how exposed these bases are that GuMiho has taken that point up to the northwest side of the map, excuse me. Yeah, like, this is going to be tough, man. And guess what? GuMiho is still attacking here. This could be unwise as well.
It could be. Pushing forward, Maru is going to come back.
Dude, +3 finishes for Maru. He's just holding off until he's got a slightly better army.
Maru going for a double drop now towards a 6 o'clock position, and GuMiho just feels confident to continue pushing. His comp is pure Marine tank medevac right now. He is not getting off of this, and it's kind of the reason that he's able to continue to take these engagements after having really, honestly, bad trades over on Maru's side of the map. And here comes Maru now in the main base. You talked about how GuMiho isn't really playing with a lot of defense, but I guess his army's defense now is just going to send the Marines back home. Not a turret in sight.
Yeah, now coming down, hitting these tanks over here. He can't get that much done. This has been a wild TVT. Oh, this gets sniped.
Yeah, it's really been a unique one, especially GuMiho kind of sticking on this.
Oh, you're kidding
so
me.
close. 6 HP. Now, GuMiho just like completely forgoing like turrets and air superiority and just like playing the tank marine game.
It's also funny, like machine weapons level 2 is done right now for Maru. It's not done yet for GuMiho. It will be done soon. In fact, he just got vehicle plating level 1. Maru did.
Yeah, that's a big army there. By
they're
Maru.
like going right by each other.
Yeah,
and
this is really awkward.
He might actually come up here. He's going to come up to the third, but I think he can go from the third into the main. I think he can kill the third, pick up, drop in the main.
He's only got a handful of medevacs there, though. His army is mostly just tank, marine, and Vikings. Got a handful of Ravens as well. So he's just going to be slow pushing this on the low ground, but it's going to work.
Yeah, well,
we have a kind of a base trade situation here.
Yeah, I think there's slightly more here for Maru, but they both, yeah, I mean, they're both going to be wiping each other pretty hard. Now, we got to watch what's actually remaining in the main here. I like the Liberators coming down here to just kind of thin out these Marines. What is waiting in the main? 2 siege tanks and some Marines. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult to come through. Those Marines are getting chewed up. What about GuMiho's main? I hope they show us that in a second here. Yeah, he's going to tap out his main a little bit more naked. Maru wins that, but I'll tell you something, man, it was not easy for him.
No, it wasn't, and that was just a really peculiar game, honestly, almost from start to finish.
I loved the way it went. You know, you could see they're both very skilled in the early game. It was really a one-of-a-kind early game. GuMiho surviving the double Raxes, but then Maru was surviving push after push after push. I do think that GuMiho got a little bit wasteful with his tanks. I don't even think there was any one thing Maru did that stood out. He was just solid overall and better and more efficient with his units in general.
He was really effective at pouncing on GuMiho whenever GuMiho was caught out of position.
Yeah.
We saw that a couple of times where GuMiho's siege tanks weren't being covered by his Marines. And we also saw it when GuMiho took a really aggressive stance at the natural expansion of Maru and tried to go for a huge drop to take that position. Maru, with fast reactions, just mowed those units down. And a couple of fights like that, that's all you need if you're having a technical superiority army, as we saw Maru did. And he was able to carry that to a win. But as you said, it was not easy.
No.
Data C going to be map number 2. And
I'm like, no.
No.
No. I don't know, man. Let's see what happens on Data C. I do think GuMiho could take a game, maybe even 2 here. He did. It was a very even match. I feel like I don't get to see Maru work that hard that often in TVT.
Certainly not.
And you can see why GuMiho's a threat because of that.
I can do this all day. Believe me when you hear me say I can do this all day. There's nothing that I cannot say.
Psystorm Gaming, GuMiho. Onside Gaming, Maru.
Man, that last match was just so interesting. I'm still trying to process everything that happened. It was so hard to follow.
TVT I've always been interested in because I think it's always actually been a little bit harder to follow than the other matchups. Like, there are moments where tanks totally destroy Marines, and then there's moments where Marines totally destroy tanks, and moments where it's completely worth it to drop into locations with your army, and then moments where it just isn't at all. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming down. And, like, you have to be able to look at situations and parse the data so quickly. In a matchup where a lot of the units, they're all very glass cannoning. You know, they all deal damage fast or in splash. but also when they receive damage, they get obliterated very quickly. And it just seemed like overall Maru was, he was certainly behind at points in time, but sort of kept his head on his shoulders. And eventually it just seemed like GuMiho almost out-positioned himself. He overextended several times, and then we got into this base trade moment, and they both had the right idea. In a Terran versus Terran base trade, you want to go into their main. You know, we talk about how Terrans oftentimes die if you get on top of their buildings, because like their units are so weak, like the moment they pop out, they're immediately killed off.
Yeah, they're
like,
the race that has the weakest supply line out of their production facilities. You get on the supply line of the Terran, and
like Protoss can warp in, and they can pick, they can choose where to warp in and get those angles. And there's even like a little bit of time where they warp in, where they, they don't get killed off immediately. And Zerg, you're fighting them. If you're fighting Zerg and there's anywhere in their supply line, you're on their creep.
Right.
You have rallies coming at you from every angle, including bubbling up from the hatcheries that you're fighting on.
You might be on one set of larvae, but there's 4 others on the other side of the map, and they might even be in a position to surround you later.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so they both went into each other's main, but the one thing that Maru did was he had 2 tanks sieged up in his main, and he had a couple Marines there, and he also lifted the depot in the base trade, which meant the Marines had to kill the depot before they could then get over that and get in there and do damage. And it was just too much. The Marines were thinned out too greatly. The Liberators helped as well, I should say. But then you looked at GuMiho, and he just had some infantry. And so, like, in this total back-and-forth epic game, it actually came down to, Maru basically concocting a little bit of a defense in the main that gives him more viability. Because, yeah, the Terrans are weak when you're on their buildings, but if they get a few loads of production out, then they've got an army again. And that's all you need.
Well said. And it kind of was the story of the game there, too, for Maru. I mean, that entire time he was building a more technical composition than his opponent. He was constantly making sure that he had air superiority. He was even adding Vikings quite late into that game because he wasn't sure if GuMiho was going to ever try and contest that.
Right.
And if you're going to do that against somebody that's going pure tank marine medevac, their army is going to pump out so much faster than yours. You have to be really on top of your defense if you're going to make it work, because you don't have as many Marines as they do unless you get favorable trades, or you don't have as many tanks as they do unless you're able to secure those spots. And Maru just made it work from start to finish. So now we have a little bit of a 2-prong attack coming in here for Maru. Oh, I love the Reapers coming into the main, just scouting out, gathering intel for this medevac.
Yeah, if he angles this right, though, the Banshee's going to kill that. Looks like it actually gets out. Dude, I thought he shot his own heli, and I'm like, what? Like, what is happening?
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Well, this is going to give some room for Maru to come in here with a drop. The Cyclone and the other units get baited away. Will Maru be able to get out of this? Guess so.
I guess so.
For a second, I thought the Cyclones might be able to latch onto that, and
yeah,
with a
something
scan,
about that also looked wrong. I'm like, don't you get to fly for 3 screens and then see that medevac get killed off? I thought I knew what Cyclones were capable of.
Yeah, Cyclones are, it's tough to read them sometimes, man.
I just remember the first time I ever got to play against somebody who was making Cyclones, and it was just like at BlizzCon, like when they debuted the game, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, all my stuff's getting shot. I'm like, how far can this thing
It's a very non-classical Blizzard RTS unit.
Yeah.
Blizzard very rarely, if ever, does moving shot, and Cyclone is, like, Phoenix is one of them, and then Cyclone is the other one, and kind of a different take with a lock-on mechanism.
Right.
So kind of, that's an interesting unit. Yeah, I remember that showcase, too. That was weird.
Yeah. I didn't know how to feel about that unit that day.
I think my thought process was like, oh, surely they're going to cut this.
I thought they were too when I first tried it.
That's exactly what
I'm
I
like,
thought.
are you kidding me? This is one of the things they can get off the factory?
All right, Maru moving around the map with another medevac. 7 Marines in this one. As GuMiho with a little bit of an eco advantage here now. Maru does have 3 workers. Say that and narrows down to 1, but GuMiho has the faster 3rd CC already in position on the low ground, actually building that one on site, and that's something that having map control in the early game allows you to do. Maru's gonna have to float that one on down, and both players kind of going for kind of similar unit compositions here. GuMiho actually playing to contest air this time with the Vikings, and he's gonna move out on the map.
Okay, so we have seen this story before. Let's see how this goes, though. If they're both not on a massive amount of bases, I mean, there's a chance GuMiho could really take the fight. Last game, we saw him come forward, and this became like a real back and forth. And they both left, you know, bloodied and battered. And you know, no one had really made any headway. Like, Maru barely kept his base alive. GuMiho barely kept a couple of his tanks alive and backed off. Good defense, by the way. GuMiho deflecting the medevac that's over there.
He's actually going to try and pounce on this, too. That's 9 supply of
This
units
is
he can
sick.
go pick up. Careful not to lose your Ravens or Cyclones, though. Nice micro there by GuMiho. Pulls him back.
He just like hopes he doesn't see this. I hope your screen's not here. Well, that's actually a pretty big loss for Maru.
And 9 supply of army this early is quite a bit going down as we have a Cyclone run by over here at the third base. So weird seeing Cyclones do run bys like this. I mean, like me as a Protoss player is like, you're doing what now? You're just like running 2 Cyclones into the mineral line?
Yeah.
But I guess Maru just kind of wants to trade these out. I mean, Cyclone's kind of awkward units to have in the mid game. They kind of fall. They fill like one niche in the early game, and then they really just kind of fall off.
They're like Reapers, but you get them in mid game, and then you're like, okay, I don't want these anymore. Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
Give
They
me a
are
Marine
kind of like
tank.
Reapers.
Yeah.
All right, GuMiho maybe going to try and ride the momentum of getting those 2 Cyclones and 7 Marines and Medevac off the map and leverage this army. And Maru, how many?
Well, he has all of his Ravens over there.
So many Ravens.
Ravens help in defense right now. So Maru is just going to fly these all the way across and use the auto turrets, I assume.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean,
I feel like he needs these back at home, though, man.
2 tanks over here on the side, and with these Ravens, man, you can disable these tanks.
And the Vikings as well. This is...
Ooh.
And GuMiho's in control of this position. Maru's committing to the counterattack with auto turrets, though. That's a ton of Ravens coming into the natural expansion.
Okay. How much damage is this going to do? He can actually kill the E-Bays, which I thought he might do, and then I didn't want to mention it. I'm like, is that really what he's going to do? I don't want to look dumb. Well, I look really smart, but I should have said it earlier.
Should have said it. He actually doesn't get infantry weapons, so you are still...
Yeah. No, it's dumb. I take it back.
No.
The insecure version of me was actually the smartest one, it turns out.
He got armor, though, so that's only +1 for GuMiho coming up right now. And this position is really tough to break. Maru is coming back now with these Ravens. I believe 3 of them did survive, but this is really a tough spot. Air superiority just completely in favor of GuMiho right now.
I feel like GuMiho may actually just kill him here.
Potentially.
Like, it seems like such a gamble.
I want to know...
well, if he loses his Vikings, maybe it won't be. I was going to say, it seems like such a gamble to not have your Ravens here, especially with Vikings to spot. But, hold on.
Okay.
Did GuMiho bungle this? Let's find out.
Everything is getting pulled right now for Maru. 12 SCVs going down, as it looks like he will have just enough to break through. And worker counts after this are going to equalize, even the Vikings going down.
Dude, Maru is just built different.
Huh.
He just sort of, he just gets the ebb and the flow of the game in a way that I can't explain.
We'll see, though.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Let's see what he can do now. There's going to be another attack coming out here. They may end up colliding into each other here.
There's a lot more Marines here for GuMiho, but keep in mind, upgrade advantage in the favor of Maru. Marines getting traded out. Quite an even fight.
Well, I mean, GuMiho wins that, but is it going to be by enough? He's even landing a mule here to repair that. It's important to note that, like, you could win a fight in TVT, and then you have, like, 3 Marines and 2 tanks, and it's, you know, it's not going to last for much longer if your reinforcements don't get there. He has denied the command center here at 6 o'clock, and at the same time, GuMiho has gotten a 4th of his own in the top right of the map. So, I mean, so far so good here. Maru basically playing on his back foot right now.
Yeah, GuMiho outpacing Maru a little bit here. Because he wants to try and continue to delay this 6 o'clock base from getting up. Without Vikings, though, it's a little bit more tricky. And now we're seeing Liberators being added for GuMiho, Vikings for Maru. And Maru might forfeit this 6 o'clock. GuMiho.
Yeah, GuMiho just get a little bit more damage on that before all my Marines are killed. Now Maru's going to go for a counter, and there's the same idea here for GuMiho, but it's going to be with a drop.
Yeah, I like this play by Maru coming out
He's
right
like, I'm
now.
going to kill both of his eBays.
I mean, that +1, look at the armor, the upgrades right now in favor of Maru. 2-2 versus just +1 attack. So these Marines are going to absolutely shred.
And he's not teaching the tanks in the back.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. And GuMiho, I don't even know what's going on. These are all just getting killed.
Yeah, GuMiho thought he could
Oh, GG just ended. Oh, my God. It was a catastrophic failure.
It was
We just get
catastrophic.
GuMiho on camera and he just explodes.
That was,
Whoa.
Yeah, that was catastrophic, to say the least. As Maru's going to be the first player to advance out of Group C. And really a chaotic fashion right there at the end. I mean, it felt like the match wasn't too in favor of Maru. Like, yeah, the upgrade advantage is there, but GuMiho just kind of imploding.
He's just solid, man. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I feel like GuMiho's gonna like look around and then realize he's been sitting on wet paint now. He's like, oh no, everything's going wrong. We're gonna go to an interview now with old Marmar. See how he's feeling, man. He's going on to the round of 10.
Gotta be feeling good.
Gotta be feeling good, especially after a game like that. Won in, what, about 8 seconds there. Everything went wrong for GuMiho, and Maru took it 2-0.
방금 해설을 끝나고
Maru
내려오게
takes
된
down GuMiho
인터뷰
in the women's match,
박진영입니다.
and he moves on to
문규리
round 10.
아나운서가 안타깝게 코로나
So
확진되는
unfortunately,
바람에
Gyuri
제가
has
인터뷰를 하게 됐는데요.
gotten COVID,
자,
so
20강
she's
C조
not here
1위로
for the
2대0
match
1의
today. So
압도적인 승리로
JYP is
올라가게
going to
된
do the
조성우
interview
선수를
instead.
만나보겠습니다.
We're going to have an interview with Maru. Congratulations.
조
Thank
1위로
you.
3연속 10강
So
진출
Maru,
기분이 어떤가요?
you made it to your round of 10. How do you feel?
마음 비워서 저
You know, honestly, I came here with an empty mind, but I'm really happy to have won today. I mean, the last final for you has been a very unfortunate one, Maru, losing to Hero.
소소하게 6강 가는 게 목표고.
I mean, the goal for this season is to make it to round of 6.
좋을 것 같긴 해요.
And you know, if I go further, that'll be
개인적으로 경기 내용을 질문하기보다
happier
하나
for me.
궁금한 게 원래 최근 태태전에
So I'm
지난 시즌에
curious.
보여줬던 게 있잖아요. 조성도 지금 웃고 있는 거
So
있잖아요.
you've shown on
이름을
TVT
뽑았을 때
before.
태태전 주도권을 뺏는다. 이게 대세다라고 저한테
And then
말을
you're
했어요.
saying that the matter is going for the ghosts and taking the
대세가
initiatives.
아니라
What do you think about that?
그때 태태전 방가 싸움이 너무 재미가 없는 거예요.
I mean, at the time when I said that the Ghost Raven build was so
옛날부터
boring to
동원이 형이랑
play,
얘기해본 게 유령 쓰면 어떻겠냐.
and I've been talking to Ryung about the ghosts,
연습했는데
and I did that in practice, and then I found it to be really useful. But when I played on the stage, it wasn't that all
1세트에 사실
successful.
치즈러시를 정찰을 거의 못했는데 그냥 시도를 했거든요.
You know, against the
그 혹시
Protoss, you went for the cheese
로공을
rush
받기
without the
때문에
scouting.
그런 건가요?
And what did you offer the play?
일단 제가 불사조 질럿 맞춤식으로 해가지고.
You know, I actually went for a strategy to counter the Protoss Phoenix.
저한테
That's why
얘기한 건 좀
I opted
달랐던
for
것
that.
같은데. 레더에서 김도우 선수의 스타일을 다 봤다고 하지 않았나요?
So you actually said you watched classic play in the ladder, and that's why you went for that strategy. I mean that too, but I actually went for the cheese rush because I saw classic would go Phoenix. Right, so Maru, you're gonna be departing for TSL 9 tomorrow, and your first opponent is actually Hero this time.
목을 조르는 모습을 보여줄 정도로
So
과격했는데
it was Hero
준비한 게 있나요?
asphyxiating you last season's finals, but how about this time?
전혀 없고.
You know, I didn't really prepare that much for the match against Hero.
그래도
So
지난
I'm just gonna
결승전
go there
이후에 프로토스에
and then
좀
play
바뀐 게
comfortably.
있다면 뭐 맵이 좋아졌다 이런 게 혹시 있을까요?
So anything that changed for the TVP matchup?
솔직히 제가 생각에는 별로 안 좋은 것 같거든요.
I mean, as for maps, I don't think it
또
favors
엄살을
me.
이렇게.
I don't think it favors the Terran.
그냥 전 시즌보다 더 안 좋은 것 같은데.
I think it's gotten worse than last
거기서
season.
제가 준우승 해버려가지고.
그럼에도 불구하고 TSL에 선전하길
despite that,
바라면서 마지막으로
We hope that you have a
팬분들께
successful
한마디.
performance in the TSL 9. So anything else you want to say?
아쉬우셨을 텐데 이번 시즌.
I mean, my fans were probably disappointed with my final results, but this time I'll not disappoint you. Once again, congratulations, Maru. Thank you.
And thank you, Andy.
네, 잠시
Congratulations
후에
to
저는
Maru. He's going
패자조
to be
김도우
going on to
선수와
the next
박한솔 선수의
level.
경기로
That means
돌아오겠습니다.
up next we are going to have a PvP, and we'll be going to that after this break. We will be right back.